"Do you like him?" Alex asked. "Of course I do. He's so big and beautiful." Johnny couldn't take his eyes off the puppy. "And do you know how smart he is?" Johnny shook his head, watching the huge shepherd pup. Sure, he still had a long way to go before becoming a grown dog, but it was already clear. He was going to be a real giant. "Watch this. Chris, give me your paw," Alex commanded. The dog solemnly offered his paw to his young owner, but couldn't keep a straight face for long. He immediately started jumping, licked Alex's nose, then Johnny's. The boys burst out laughing. The puppy barked happily, wagging his tail, and within seconds they were all rolling in the grass in a playful heap. It was impossible to tell where the boys ended and the pup began. "Well, I gotta go." Johnny stood up, brushing off the grass. "Dad'll be worried." "Come by tomorrow, same time. I'll bring some treats from home." "I'll come. Thanks, Alex." Johnny looked down, and Alex gave him a friendly pat on the shoulder. "Hey, don't be sad. Everything's gonna be fine." But Johnny just sighed. Deep down, he no longer believed that anything in his life would ever change. He slowly walked home. As always, it was dark and quiet there. His mom would ask where he'd been, and he'd tell her about Alex. He always told her everything, because she almost never left the house. Things hadn't always been this way. Johnny remembered a little bit of the good times. Dad would come home from work, they'd have dinner together, watch TV, talk, laugh. But then, Mom was walking home from work, slipped, fell, and ended up in the hospital. Johnny remembered visiting her. He remembered how gloomy Dad was back then. When Mom came back, she barely got out of bed. The house became sad. That smell of medicine never left. No one laughed anymore. Dad stopped coming home at night. Mom started crying more and more. The atmosphere grew heavy, and Johnny tried not to leave his room unless he had to. Then one day, Dad just packed his things and left. Mom tried to stop him, cried, asked how they would survive, but Dad silently pulled her hands away and walked out. She cried so hard afterward that Johnny was afraid to even go near her. A few days later, Grandma came. She brought potatoes, some meat, stayed for 2 days, had long talks with Mom, and left. And they were alone again. They slowly got used to it. Mom got a disability benefit. That's what they lived on. Sometimes the neighbor would stop by. Johnny overheard her bad-mouthing his dad, saying he was hiding from child support and had abandoned a sick wife. But Johnny didn't want to hear it. Even if Dad had left, he still missed him. The next day, Alex showed up looking like a storm cloud. "What happened to you?" Johnny asked. "Oh, don't even ask." Alex waved him off. "Dad's leaving for a week, and that witch Angela is moving in." Johnny knew Angela was something like his dad's fiancée. Alex couldn't stand her. And judging by his stories, no one else could either. Except his father. "Dad used to hold her off, but now he says she needs to look after me while he's gone," Alex grumbled. "Look after me? I've stayed alone with Aunt Mary, our housekeeper, plenty of times, and we were fine without that Angela." Johnny didn't know how to comfort his friend. Their friendship was unusual, poor Johnny and rich kid Alex, but it was real and strong. Alex knew everything about Johnny, and Johnny about Alex. Johnny knew very well how much Alex had dreamed of having a dog, and finally, for his 10th birthday, his dad gave him Chris. "You're a big boy now," his dad said. "You can take care of your own friend." Alex adored Chris with all his heart, so much so that he couldn't bear to be apart from him even for a minute. He told Johnny that Chris had his own bed in his room, but every night, once the house fell asleep, the dog would sneak into his bed, and they'd sleep cuddled up together. "Dad's leaving tomorrow evening," Alex said gloomily. "But he's already bringing her tonight. That awful woman. And he says I have to listen to her." "Hang in there, Alex. You know adults always do things their own way. Johnny sighed. I know. And what can I do? Just endure it. Anyway, I should go. The next day, Alex didn't show up. Or the day after that. Johnny understood. That Angela woman probably wasn't letting him out. But still, he came to their meeting spot by the river every day, because surely Alex would show up eventually. Well, Johnny, did your friend come by? His mom asked every evening. No, Mom. I think that mean lady locked him up, he sighed. But wait, Alex had to walk Chris, didn't he? Maybe she only lets him out early in the morning, Johnny thought. Yes! Tomorrow I'll wake up early and go to the river. I'll definitely see him. He set his alarm and left the house just before dawn. He didn't want to miss a thing. As he reached their usual spot, he saw a car pull up near the riverbank. A beautiful woman stepped out, opened the trunk, and pulled out a large bag. The bag was moving. Johnny froze behind a bush. The woman walked up to the water and threw the bag in, then calmly got back in the car and drove away. Johnny didn't hesitate for a second. He leapt into the water. Whoever was in there, they were alive. With great effort, he pulled the bag ashore, untied the rope, and gasped. It was Chris. His snout was taped shut with duct tape. The dog was barely breathing, his eyes full of pain and fear. Chris, buddy, Johnny whispered, carefully pulling the tape off. The dog whimpered softly. Johnny stroked him gently, whispered soothing words, then helped him up. Come on, come with me. You'll stay with us for now, until I figure everything out. His mom gasped when she saw Johnny dragging a large dog into the house. Johnny! Who is this? Where did you get him? Mom, he said seriously, laying Chris down on a rug. I thought Alex was exaggerating when he talked about Angela, but I saw it with my own eyes. She threw Chris into the river, in a bag. She was young, beautiful. I'm sure it was her. Alexandra gently stroked the dog. Chris licked her hand, rested his head on his paws, and stared blankly into the distance. Mom, we're not going to send him away, right? Of course not, Johnny, she said softly. Sooner or later, you'll see Alex again. We'll sort it all out then. Johnny did the math, figuring out when Alex's dad was supposed to return, and decided to go to their house. Maybe he could at least catch a glimpse of his friend. He crept up to their fence, found a little gap, and there he saw Alex. Alex sat slouched in an outdoor chair, his head down. Next to him was his father, Mr. Carl. Well, these things happen, he sighed. Sometimes dogs run away. He couldn't have run away, Alex snapped angrily. Your Angela did something to him. Don't talk nonsense. She gave him a little smack, that's all, and he bit her. He didn't bite her. He just growled because she tried to hit me. Mr. Carl shook his head. Alex, I can't believe you're serious. Angela is a good person. You just never accepted her, and now you're blaming everything on her. Alex turned to his father, hurt in his eyes. Why don't you believe me? I've never lied to you. At that moment, Johnny couldn't stay silent anymore. Even if they yelled at him or threw him out, he had to stand up for his friend. Alex, he shouted as he came closer. Mr. Carl turned toward the voice. Someone's calling you. Just then, a boy jumped over the fence. Please, don't send me away, Johnny said, catching his breath. I need to tell you something. Alex ran over and hugged him. Mr. Carl looked at the boy with curiosity. Well, hero, I hope your story's worth my time. Otherwise, I'll have to call the police. Dad? Alex said reproachfully. That's Johnny. All right, got it. Sit down, Johnny. Want some tea? No thanks, I won't be long. He sat down and began telling his story. I kept waiting for Alex and Chris, but they never came. so I thought maybe they started walking early in the mornings now. I went to the river, and there was a car, a small red one. The front windshield had this weird purplish tint. A woman got out, opened the trunk, pulled out a big bag. It was moving. Then she just threw it into the river. Mr. Carl and Alex exchanged glances. Johnny continued, I jumped into the water, pulled the bag out, and Chris was inside. His snout was taped shut. He could barely breathe. When Johnny finished, Alex's eyes filled with tears. Johnny, he's with you? Really? Yeah, with me and Mom. We didn't hurt him, I swear. But he's so sad. He misses you. Mr. Carl stood, visibly shaken. That bag, did you bring it? Yes, and the duct tape too. It's all at home. That's good. Let's go. He offered his hand. By the way, I'm Mr. Carl. Just then, the gates creaked open, and the same little red car slowly drove into the yard. Johnny's eyes widened. That's her! That's the one! The woman got out. Alex made a move like he was about to charge at her, but his father stopped him. Hold on, buddy. Let's go to Johnny's first. I'll handle things here later. They walked past the woman, who threw up her hands in disbelief. Carl, where are you going? You know Alex is grounded. You keep giving in to him, and then you're the one who suffers. But Mr. Carl didn't even look back. The three of them got into his car and drove out through the gate. As soon as they stepped into Johnny's house, Chris lost his mind with joy. He leapt onto Alex, licking him all over, knocking him to the ground. Alex hugged him tightly, kissing him and whispering, You're alive. You're alive. My Chris. Mr. Carl picked up the bag. These are the exact same ones we keep in the supply closet for street cleaning. At that moment, Sandra appeared in the doorway, leaning against the wall. Johnny, we have guests? Carl looked at her in surprise. Sandy, is that you? She squinted, trying to get a good look. Carl? No way. Johnny and Alex looked at each other in shock. Wait, you two know each other? Alex's father chuckled. When we were kids, Sandy and I grew up in the same neighborhood, used to steal apples together from backyards. The woman smiled. Yeah, we sure did. Johnny, could you put the kettle on? She asked. But the boys didn't stay for tea. They were already outside with Chris, who was absolutely losing his mind with joy. How are you doing, Sandra? Carl asked, watching her closely. Well, sorry, but you don't look too great. You're right, she sighed. I don't look great. And my life's kind of a mess, too. And she told him everything. About the accident, the hospital, and how her husband, unable to take it anymore, just left. Wait, Carl frowned. Are you saying he left you so he wouldn't have to pay for your surgery? He couldn't handle it. He got tired, just wanted a normal life, not one spent paying off debts. And honestly, he didn't owe me anything. What are you talking about? Carl flared up. When people marry, they vow to be together, in joy and in sorrow. Sandra lowered her gaze. Carl gently took her hand. All right. I'm sorry. I won't give you a hard time. Look at me. I didn't listen to my own son. Let a snake into our home. He paused for a moment, then asked, Sandra, do you mind if Johnny stays with you until the evening? I need to clean the place up. I don't want him to see it like that. Of course he can stay, she nodded. I think both boys will be happy. I'll come back later then. Carl stepped outside to the boys. All right, guys, I've got a secret mission for you. Think you're up for it? Alex and Johnny exchanged a quick glance. Of course. Here's some money. Go to the store, get everything delicious you can find, and wait for me at Johnny's place. Alex jumped with joy. The boys could barely carry the grocery bags. "We're cooking a celebration dinner," they declared as they reached the door. Sandra laughed. "Maybe you'll at least let me be your assistant?" By 8 in the evening, Carl returned. As he walked in, he sniffed the air. Something smells amazing in here. I only had breakfast today." "Dad, go to the kitchen. Johnny and I made dinner." "Well," Aunt Sandra helped a little. Dinner was unexpectedly warm and cheerful. Everyone laughed, shared childhood stories, and talked about everything under the sun. After the meal, when the boys and Chris went off to their room, Sandra quietly asked, "So, how did it go?" "Exactly as expected," Carl smiled, "but that doesn't matter anymore. Tell me, if I offered to pay for your surgery, would you accept?" "Carl, come on. It's insanely expensive. I'd never be able to repay you. And even if I could, it would take, 50 years. Who said anything about paying me back? Money's the least important thing. And Johnny? Well, this won't be a short process. He could live with us. I think he and Mary will get along perfectly. She's been heartbroken over Chris, too." 6 months later. "Johnny," Alex asked, "do you think our parents will ever tell us?" "Nope. I think adults don't really care what kids think." "Then maybe we should help them?" "Let's do it." The boys spent the whole evening making a plan. They only went to bed as dawn approached. The next morning, Sandra, who had been discharged from the hospital a week earlier, but Carl still wouldn't let her go home until she fully recovered, walked into their room. The beds were empty. "That's strange. Already up?" But they weren't in the kitchen either. Only Mary was there. "You haven't seen the boys?" Sandra asked. Mary looked nervous. "No. Did they go somewhere?" They both returned to the bedroom, and that's when they saw the note on the table. Sandra grabbed it and read, "We'll come back when you're ready to tell us you're getting married. We know everything." Sandra blushed. Mary sighed. "They're like little grown-ups, I swear." Carl walked in. "What's with the meeting? Where are our boys?" Sandra tried to hide the note, but Mary gently took her hand and lifted it up. Carl read it and burst out laughing. "Well, look at them! Brilliant! If adults can't sort things out, kids have to step in." He turned to Sandra. "Sandra, will you marry me? Seriously, how long are we going to keep hiding?" Mary smiled, pulled out her phone, typed something, and hit send. "You can come back now. They're getting married." If you enjoyed this story, please support me with a thumbs up. It's just one click for you, but for me, it's a huge joy and motivation to keep writing. Thank you.